All right, so we are live. Hello, everybody. It's
Hi.
the Flippin Bunch, and we have a special guest in the house tonight, Cory from Desert DIY. And we're going to go around and do what we always do and introduce ourselves, and then we'll come and hear all about Cory and her journey. So I think I'm pointing the right way. Nope, I screwed it up. Or am I? Crystal.
No, yeah,
I think it's right.
Pointing at Cory, but I think you're gonna skip.
Here, I'll help you.
Okay, so
Oh, no,
Crystal, whatever.
We're like the Brady Bunch.
It's
So,
yeah.
backwards. That's why.
Hey everybody, I'm Crystal and I am the Crafty Crooch DIYs and Furniture Flips. I love flipping furniture and creating furniture art, as well as thrifting, thrift flipping. I'm a reseller, so I also resell items. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Dar.
Well, I'm trying to turn Cory into a maximalist, but I think she's kind of inching more and more that way. I'm Dar from DIYs by Dar. I didn't start out being a maximalist, but I am one now because it's just so much darn fun. And you can just create whatever you want. And if you do it in a boho style, if you mess something up, it really doesn't matter because it kind of goes with the design anyway. I've been doing it for 4 years. I've known Cory for a long time. I've followed her before I think I even started my own channel. So she's been a big inspiration to me, especially when I go thrifting, because I ask myself, now, would Cory buy this?
Probably.
Or something completely off the wall that's broken, or would Cory buy this? Would she do something with this and have a use for it? Yes, she would. That's my story.
If it's
What
ugly,
would Cory
yes,
do?
I'd buy it.
Bracelets. WWCD.
What would Cory do?
My mom says that too.
I love it.
All right. Kat?
Hey, I'm Kat from Owling Dog Design, and I do restoration, refinishing, and art, not always in that order. Good to see you all.
Okay. All right. And I'm Lavon from Statement Designs. And we seem to have a little bit of a lag going on, I think. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But anyway, I do both thrift flips and furniture flips and have a little booth in a coffee house called Cosmic Charlie's. And I've had a shop for over 10 years. My business started out as a design business, and I still do that. And I still do custom orders. And mainly just kind of focus on doing the YouTube thing and, other social media, but definitely, always trying to sell that furniture. So just want to take a minute before we introduce our guest and say hello to Lynn's Vintage Villa and Gretchen and Jen from Copper Cactus. So we're glad you guys are here tonight. All right. So Cory, we have a couple screenshots here to share. Let me grab them here. So this is your Instagram, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you have quite a few followers on Instagram, and you don't have Facebook, do you?
Not really.
Okay, I couldn't
I'm so
find it.
terrible about using social media.
Okay. Well, I'm just like intrigued because you have a second YouTube channel,
I do,
and I'm
yeah.
just like, wow. How long ago did you start this?
I started a long time ago. I don't remember exactly when, and I had only posted like 2 videos on there. They didn't go very far, and then it was just kind of lost after that. I was just like, I'll just keep on doing my DIY stuff. And then recently, I've decided to split in and do more of my decorating on that channel as more of like a homemaking content. because a lot of my decorating videos on my DIY channel don't get picked up in the algorithm. And so when that happens, it's always good to split your content and have different niches. Sometimes it's hard, like, to build that audience on the other channel, but I think in the long run, it's going to be worth it that I did that. And I can still kind of do different creative outlets over there that wouldn't work so well on my Desert DIY channel.
Mhm.
Yeah, it gives you a little more freedom. And I see you're over 3,000 subscribers on that one. So
I'm working on
let's
it.
get your main channel with over 154.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Desert DIY, where you turn trash to treasure, do-it-yourself tutorials, and furniture flips. So we're excited to dig in and ask you a bunch of questions. So
I'm
tell us
ready.
about yourself and how you started your business.
So I've been doing YouTube for about 6 years now. I was working in special education. I had only been working there for a year. And then I was a foster parent at that time, and I had 2 biological children. And then I ended up getting pregnant with my son. And I was looking for a way that I could work from home. And I kind of just brainstormed a bunch of different ways that I could utilize my skills to earn money. Like they always say, you know, if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life, kind of thing. And I needed something that gave me the freedom of picking hours, like when the kids were napping, or like getting up early before, you know, anybody's awake, or before my husband went to work, or, you know, whatever I could do from home. And so I started doing that. And I was also working in foster care at that time. And I knew, like, we lived in Tucson, Arizona, and it's a small town. So I knew all the different groups and things like that, and was helping by donating everything that I made to kids who were aging out of foster care. And it was like this perfect thing that happened where I was making stuff that I really loved doing, and I was able to give it to people who really appreciated it. And it was so much fun. We had an absolute blast. And when I started doing that, my channel just kind of took off on its own naturally. I think people really enjoyed seeing that kind of fun of giving away things to people who were really going to appreciate it. And ever since then, I've just continued working on it and kind of going with the flow of how my life has changed, and just keep finding ways to make my skills and the time I have during the day to provide financially for my family.
Right.
So good.
Well, so you've had some recent changes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
Yep. So I talked about this today in the video that I posted, but my husband was going to college for computer science, and we were kind of doubling up our work on the channel, trying to make more money that way to offset him not having a job and going to school. And it was going well, but as he continued in through school, we started hearing a lot of these rumors that, you know, computer science was dying out, and that it was like a desert for the jobs. Like there was no jobs for all these thousands of people who had gotten these degrees and spent 4 years of their life, you know, committed to this career field, and now none of them can find jobs. And so when we started hearing about that happening here where we are in Houston, Texas, it was like, I think we really need to, you know, consider if this is going to be worth your time and the sacrifice, because it's very hard for somebody who's in their late 30s to keep up with, you know, these kids who've been doing it already in high school. It's really, really hard to learn computer science at our age. And it just wasn't worth it anymore. And he was like, we need to change course and do something else, because I don't want to keep doing this for more years and then graduate and not have a job. So he has been a crane operator for a really long time before, and he did heavy equipment in the Marine Corps even. That's how we met. And so he went back, and he has a lot of connections here in Houston for that job. He got offered a good job, and we had to change what we were doing for YouTube because of that. So we decided to close both of our resale booths, and that happened super fast. I thought they were going to make me keep my booths for the full length of the lease. I figured that they would just be like, okay, well, that's fine, we won't renew it, but you have to stay here until the end. But it didn't work like that. And within a couple days, I got a text message from the shop that I sell, and I sell at the Painted. And they said, oh, when can you move out? We have somebody wanting to take your spot. And that was with my booth with the wallpaper. And I said, okay. well, that's great, I guess. And so I was like, I can move out in about a week. And so that was that one. And then about a week later, I got another message saying, hey, somebody wants to rent your other booth now. And then I had to be out by the end of June. So it kind of happened really fast that I was just
Wow.
done reselling. So it was like I didn't even have time to really feel anything about it, I guess. It,
Good
it
though.
happened really quick, and I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? It was meant to be that way, apparently, and it was kind of a relief in a way to not have to worry about going through, like figuring out how to restock
All
while
that
my
anxiety
husband was
over
working.
that.
Yes,
Ugh.
yeah. So it was kind of a big relief. I'm glad that that's done for now, just because
Mhm.
of it would be too hard. It would be way too hard to do that and not have my husband around to help with the kids. We don't have a babysitter, so and
Yeah.
no family here to watch the kids either since we moved to
Right.
Houston.
Yeah, and you homeschool and everything. So
Yeah.
that's an you're all day long.
Yep. And I wouldn't have it any other way though. That's
Yeah.
why I like it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So somebody inherited that beautiful wallpaper in that booth, right?
Yeah.
You want to hear something funny? So
Hmm.
when they told me, when can you move out? I said I can move out in a week, but they have to buy my display because I won't have time to take it all down. And I was like, I told them that's the only way I'm going to move out that quick. And they said, okay, we'll ask them. And they said, all right. They said they'd take it, they'd buy it. So I sold everything in my booth for display wise, like the wallpaper, the wall extensions, everything for $150. And she ended up taking the wallpaper down like immediately.
Really?
Oh, you're
And I
kidding me.
thought that was such a shame because even when I was installing the wallpaper, people who were shopping in the store all stopped and said, oh my gosh, that wallpaper is amazing.
Yeah.
She could have had so many people going up to her booth just to look at the wallpaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well,
If
Wow.
only she watched your channel.
I guess.
Yeah,
But,
really.
yeah, the person who took over my booth is selling clothes, so that's
Oh.
different.
Okay.
Huh. That is
Gotcha.
interesting. So
Yeah.
what does that mean for your business now? So you do thrift flips and you do furniture flips. So what are you selling them anywhere else?
So I am slowing down on how many furniture flips that I do, and I'm trying to stick to small things because the large stuff is hard to do without Manny's help. And so I'm trying to stick to thrift flips where me and the kids can go shop together, find some cool pieces of decor, and I can easily flip these things at home, which I think is really relatable to a lot of my viewers because a lot of them can't flip huge pieces of furniture by themselves either. And so I'm focusing on the small stuff, and I've been brainstorming a way for me to give away my things. Here, I can't give away things to kids that are aging out of foster care because all the organizations I've reached out to either did not ever respond to me or they said it was just too dangerous because the areas that we would have to take things to are just high crime areas. It's just the way it is here in Houston, Texas. So I didn't want to take that chance. A lot of times I have to deliver things by myself or with me and the kids. So I don't need to worry about all that. So
Right.
I want to find a way to give back. And I think that the best way to do that would be to give it back to my viewers. And so I'm trying to find a way to do giveaways where I package up a little vignette of things I've created and do giveaways for my actual viewers. And they can like submit that they want to be a part of the giveaway if it's a thing that they're interested in getting. So I'm just trying to find a different way to do that. I've done giveaways in the past and I ended up getting scammed. I told Levon about this.
How?
But
What?
yeah, I had somebody I had announced the winner for a gift card here on YouTube long time ago. And somebody emailed me pretending to be that person and
Oh no.
took the gift card. Yep. So I'm thinking of there's a few people I've seen where they have subscribers that I believe the memberships where you can like pay a monthly a small
That's
fee.
the way to do it with that
Yep.
many subscribers too.
Yes, because then it would only be my
members.
subscribers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea because that's another stream of income then too.
Yeah, and I
And
can
then
make
you know
it a
they're
really low
serious,
amount.
too.
Yeah,
With
and
the
that
amount
way,
of followers you have, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I always I have a hard time asking people to pay things for me, and I I don't know what it is. Like even reselling, everybody always tells me my prices are way too low, and I don't know. I just feel so weird, like asking money for things. But I think that might be the only way to secure it to where when I do the giveaway, because I want to do it through a live stream to where that person can verify that that's them that messaged me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that way there's not any scams happening. But I just have to figure out how much I'm gonna set that membership fee at. And there's always like it's a hard thing to figure out. There's always half of your viewers who are going to be upset that you're charging to have a membership and that they're missing out on it if they can't afford to pay that. And then the other half is like, you go girl, you do what you got to do.
Yeah,
And so
I think
it's
if
hard.
people like you, they actually want to support you. If they like it. If it's not like $1 million,
Oh
what I
gosh,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah. So did you do well in the booth before you moved out? Because I've always noticed, I always heard everything's bigger in Texas, but I was always kind of surprised that your prices were really reasonable. So I would imagine that you did really well in your booth.
I sold out of my items really quickly, and I think a
Which
lot
was
of
your
that.
best? That's what I want to know. What was your best seller? What did you
Um,
always make? And
My best seller would definitely be vintage and antique books, like the decorative ones.
Okay.
Not anything of any importance of the content, really. It's
That's
just
so
in how
cool.
old it looked.
Would you have guessed that? Anybody?
No.
Probably not.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
those
so
ones
cool.
always sold immediately.
Wow.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and anything blue and white.
Oh,
They
okay.
knew where to find it. They get used to walking by your booth, and they always would remember that, like, oh, I like that booth because.
Yes, I got a lot of people who
thing
told me
there,
that.
that decor. Yeah. That's so.
So doing a little catching up. Mara's in the house and Jenna also. So back to your flipping. So this is Crystal's question, and it's an excellent one because not all of us have Goodwill bins. So
Oh.
tell us how that works.
Okay, so the Goodwill bins actually vary by state. So in Arizona and in Texas, we have these really big rolling carts, kind of like those rolling laundry bins you'd see like at a hotel, but they're hard plastic and they're pretty shallow. They're only about 12 inches deep. And they have them lined up in rows in a big like warehouse building, like a big Goodwill. And when you first walk in, you have to grab a cart if there are any. I highly recommend wearing gloves because there will be literal trash and like used underwear in these bins.
Oh.
And so it has happened and I've seen it. So you look through each aisle. It sometimes can be really busy in there and people can be a little elbowy and things like that. But you look at the different bins and they have them organized by like all clothes, all shoes, all books. And then they have miscellaneous ones, which is where I always go because that's where all the house things, the home things are, all the craft supplies. And then they charge you based off of like either it's clothes, books, or miscellaneous. And so the clothing here is like $2.25 or something like that per pound. And then the books are 50 cents a piece. And then you have miscellaneous things that are like $1.70 something a pound or something like that. So you separate those things in your cart. And then when you go to checkout, I always do my books first because that takes all the weight out of the cart, right? So I pull those out, tell them how many I have. And then I do, if I have any clothing, which sometimes I do that next. So that way the only thing left in my cart is the miscellaneous stuff. And you roll it up onto this big platform and they weigh it and charge you per the pound. And that's it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't know
it's
they
really
were only
fun.
12 inches deep.
Yeah,
That
they're not very
answers
deep.
a lot of questions because I often thought about people digging through them, and I thought, what do you do? Jump in to get to the bottom? So now that I know they're only shallow, that makes sense.
I've seen people on YouTube that have the bins in their area where things are actually on shelves, like a Goodwill store shelf. So it just really depends. They have like little totes full of stuff in those stores, which I've never seen that here in Houston or in Arizona. We've just had the huge bins. And they have almost no furniture at these stores. It's really rare to see furniture over there. But what it is it's just all the stuff that Goodwill couldn't put in the store. And sometimes it's stuff that never even hit the store in the first place. So you can find Pottery Barn stuff there. You can find Restoration Hardware stuff there. You can find very high-end clothing there. Like you can get the loft stuff. I've seen people get all sorts of Coach things. And I got a Dooney and Burke bag there for like, it was like brand new. And I spent like $1 something on it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can get all sorts of stuff. You just got to be willing to weed through. Wear your gloves.
Yeah.
Dig.
You're the only person I've ever seen wear the gloves, and I always think that's so smart.
Yeah. When I forget
Us too.
them,
So when you had the booth, when did you start switching your decor for the seasons? Like,
okay,
what was your
I
schedule?
love this question. I love it. Okay, so when you think about your business as a business, like when you really truly think about it as it's not a hobby, it's a business, what I think is the best thing to do is rely heavily on what the big stores have already researched and what they're doing. So if you go to Walmart and they're already starting fall, you better be starting fall because they already researched it. They know when people want to start buying this stuff. They've spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars on research for this to figure out when the right time is to start pulling that stuff out. So you don't even have to do any work to figure out when. You just base it on when all the big stores are. And a lot of the people that are shopping your booth shop those big stores. So it's already your audience and everything too. So if you're selling antiques and things like that, I would change it over as soon as your local craft store starts changing things over.
Autumn
Okay,
and Hobby
that's
Lobby
nice.
today. It was all autumn.
Yes, Hobby Lobby is always super early. But Hobby Lobby is hard because they also put their Christmas out early.
It's out.
So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do Christmas right now. Although I've done Christmas stuff in the middle of summer just because I wanted to get it out of my garage and it sold. So you could always just do it and see what happens. But I wouldn't like theme your booth with anything like that until closer to whenever the other stores start doing. I would say like Michael's would be a good one. As soon as Michael starts putting it out, you can start putting it out.
And
Well, go ahead, Kat.
if you have a booth, you can sort of go by what other people are doing in there too. Like if everybody starts putting it out, you better put yours out.
True, yes. Yeah, exactly. Or you'll be behind.
You have to kind of follow along.
Mm-hmm. I like to have like a week's worth of like a 1 week's worth of whatever the next season is ready way before that season even comes. So that way when I see it out at Michael's, I can say, oh, time to get that tote full of all that fall stuff. Get it in there right now. Ready to go.
Yeah. That's excellent advice.
As Jen mentions, Christmas in July, which, we have to take just a moment to say, we are hosting, the Flippin Bunch are hosting the Christmas in July Thrift Flip Challenge, and I believe you're on board with that, Cory, right?
I would like to do it. I'm having a hard time finding Christmas stuff.
Well,
I didn't shop for Christmas stuff. It was full of Christmas stuff.
Yeah, you just
you
never
know what we did? We went and looked and got things to make for Christmas. And then after we checked out, I'm like, oh, wow, there's a whole room that's all Christmas already. But I think it's more of a challenge. So
I see somebody asked, am I going to have a booth anymore? Nope, not for a while.
Okay, so that is Deb. She's in the house. And Janetta also. We're saying hi to Janetta. Okay. Well, you never know what the future brings, Cory. You never know.
Exactly. Never say never. Always be ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For everything, there's a time.
You're going to try to sell more like from Etsy, off of Etsy?
I thought about doing that, but it's kind of a hard thing to do with the little ones to have to go and take things to ship all the time. So I don't think I'm going to do that anytime soon because of the fact that I'm going to be shipping stuff for the giveaways. So I think I would rather put my effort into doing a really good job at the giveaways and making it a really fun experience than do the Etsy, because Etsy can be really time consuming, especially just the pictures. That's
Yes.
one of the most time-consuming parts of it.
Yeah,
and
now they want a
calculating
video
shipping.
on it too.
Yes, and you have to find the right box, which is really hard to do and frustrating. That was one of the hardest parts for me, honestly, was finding the right box for things because
Wow.
everything I sell is breakable.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. I
Right.
know, trying to fit it in there just right and get it small enough so it costs less to ship.
Yes,
It's a whole like
it's hard.
whole big
Mentally
deal.
hard.
It is. Sometimes I'll bring up like 5 boxes and I can't find one that fits. I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
So here's a question that Kat asked. So, we know you love your French country style, but what's your second favorite style?
I would say that my second favorite would be probably like a cottage or farmhouse. I love farmhouse stuff. And if my house were in a farmhouse style on the outside, I would have done that in this house too. I
It'll
love it.
never go away.
It won't. It never has.
gone away.
Yeah.
They'll just call it different names,
Yes.
Yeah.
Modern farmhouse.
Yeah.
Yes. English country, it's all very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, grandma chic, shabby chic, all that stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. We'll just encapsulate it all into the word cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works. So is there anything like you struggle to sell? Like you have difficulty
stuff,
selling?
yeah. There's definitely stuff that I struggled to sell. So certain china took a really long time to sell, and glassware in general, like clear glass, anything. Like even if it was something really beautiful, I feel like it's just never sold. And I ended up having to either take that stuff back home or clearance it out for super cheap. It was really rare that I would sell something that was a clear glass.
Yeah. Yeah. I never
Yeah.
buy it if I'm going to an auction. Not going to an auction.
Online.
Because I don't have any auctions to go to, but when I have an auction online auction to pick up, I won't do clear glass because I don't think I could get rid of it.
Exactly.
You know.
So Deb is asking again, what are the giveaways?
Oh, okay. So the giveaways I'm hoping to do on my channel is I want to put together vignettes of the things that I've created into what I think would go well together for somebody, so that they could get a box of like 5 things and go home and decorate all in one space, or they could split it all up throughout their house or whatever it may be. I want to theme them so that it's like a particular style or particular color theme or something like that, and do giveaways for my viewers for free. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make that happen. I was thinking of maybe having memberships to where we could do a live video where I say, okay, on this day, I'm going to do a live video and I show you what's going to be in the mystery box. And then you'll see all the items that are in it. And then I will pick somebody there in that live chat that I can verify their identity, get their information right there on the spot so that I don't get scammed by anybody. I've been scammed before. And then send them that box to wherever their address is. It's definitely going to have to be somebody within the United States. So I'll have to specify that in the very beginning and probably over and over again. I don't want anybody to feel left out, but that's with shipping costs. I just have to keep it within the US. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
I know you'll figure it out. So I have to say, you're bringing us a lot of viewers tonight. We're getting more viewers on our live than we normally do. So, as Kat says, your milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. So, while we have all these new faces here, let's just remind everybody. Now, we no longer have 29 subscribers, or we wouldn't be here live. But we would love it if you're here, if you're new here, and you would subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And also, if you want reminders when we go live, text live to 814-515-4905. And also, if you prefer email, just put live in the subject line to flippinbunch@gmail.com. And wouldn't mind it if you subscribe to Tuesday Talk as well. Anybody else have any other channels? Kat, I need to put your graphic up here. It's art.
It's Cat Savage Art.
Cat Savage Art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we would love that. And then, of course, if you're new to Cory, we'd love it if you subscribe to her channel, Desert
Okay,
DIY, and also
You
we
got
got
a new
another
puppy?
phone. And also her other channel called Cory.
Isn't it Cory's house or isn't it Cory's house?
It's just called Cory, but the
Oh,
URL is youtube.com / and then the @ symbol Cory's home.
Cory's house. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had that second channel. I subscribed today, so
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a process trying to get YouTube to finally show it to people.
Yeah.
I know about that.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
So do you I know your kids are around a lot, so what do you do with them? Like what kind of crafting do you like to get into with the kids? Do they like to create with you?
Definitely. I think that they would rather do that than any of the other school activities. Today we did a craft actually. We went to the local library and they had this little fairy door scavenger hunt thing. And then if you found all the fairy doors, they gave us little wooden fairy doors that we could paint at home. So my two little ones painted their own little fairy doors. And then my older two, I like to put on YouTube tutorials and have them practice painting different things. So today we did where they did like a rainbow background in all different colors. They could pick whatever color, and then practice doing more realistic clouds in front of that. So I literally just, as I'm going to sleep at night, I'll find some kind of YouTube art tutorial and do that with the kids, and they love it. I think every child likes art, and they just have to find out which type. Some kids like working with their hands, some kids like painting, and some kids like drawing. You just have to try them all.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think that's so important is teaching kids how to be creative and use their imagination and that part of their brain.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
You need to exercise that too.
Yes.
Did you have them doing the 75 days with you too?
Not as difficult as what I did, but my older two daughters, that's actually one thing that I have realized that I'm kind of slacking on as a homeschool mom is PE. So I thought, my kids are really active in the house, like they're running around and playing with each other and things like that. But I took my older two to go run with me on the treadmills and I beat them. And I was thinking back to when I was a teenager, there is no way me now could have beat me then. And I thought, I messed up. These kids are not in good shape. So I decided that I'm going to start taking them. I can only take one with me at a time as a guest because we do Planet Fitness. It's cheap and easy. And they let me take my older daughters with me. So every other time I switch off which daughter I take and I make them work out with me and they love it. But yeah, they didn't do 75 hard though. I don't think they were ready for that.
I probably love the one-on-one time too.
Absolutely.
I'm leaving this comment up here, Mara's comment, because I think maybe all of us, I know I agree with Mara, miss those ugly duckling challenges.
Yeah. Me too, actually. And I just life got busy and I forgot about them, honestly.
Well, let this be your reminder.
Yeah. Well, let's see. The next one will probably be a fall one. So I was actually thinking about this yesterday. If I would do another ugly duckling, because I was thinking about the interview and how I know you all, and it was a lot of it through doing ugly duckling challenge. So I was thinking maybe we can do a deconstructed challenge because fall is about the leaves falling, right? Leaving the bare trees. So I wonder if there's maybe a theme I can do for fall for the ugly duckling where we strip things back.
Oh, okay.
What do you
I'm
think?
gonna have a problem with that.
Oh yeah, that's like putting your whole brain in reverse, Dar.
Yep.
Bring me back to the real world.
We'll have to just brainstorm some ideas then.
That is really kind of a cool idea. I like it a lot.
Awesome.
So,
Well, I'm glad you like it.
So yes, so keep that tab open, and then Lynn says, Cory, USPS will come to your home and pick up your packages. I do that all
Never
the
done
time.
that.
Oh yeah,
I need to learn that.
I ship from home mostly, unless I'm going to sell a big piece of furniture, which hasn't happened yet. But that's the route I'm taking: is more involved, more stuff on it, higher end art piece, higher the price.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I've done it before where my packages were small enough I could just shove them into that blue box.
There you go.
Hold up
Well,
the
it
leg.
used to fit.
Yeah, I print my label at home and I'm like, I'm not going in there. I just shove it in the box. And
Yeah, it's
Well, after
always
you make
a
your
madhouse
label,
in
there's
there.
just a thing that says request pickup. And then I just
Okay.
always put it under my mailbox and they just come get it. Yeah.
I wonder if my scale would weigh something that is that heavy.
Well,
I may have to get a better
you have a
scale.
food scale, right?
I have, yeah, the little one. It's like
That
this
usually
big.
that's the one that I use because what goes up to 5 pounds? Mine
Yeah, I don't
does.
know. I don't know how much. I feel like the packages I'm going to do for my giveaways might be a little heavier than
Yeah.
what that would hold. I'll have
Usually
to
I
figure
use
that
my
out.
food scale, but I did purchase another one that's for heavier items. But I don't even call him. I just put it out there for the mailman and he takes it.
yeah.
Oh, you got a good mailman.
Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'll just, if I have a heavier one or one that's kind of awkward and doesn't fit on that small scale, I'll get out my person scale where you stand on it.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah, and then I weigh myself, and then I weigh myself with the package, and then
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a smart idea.
whatever the difference
Wow.
is, that's how much my package weighs.
Okay, yeah, that's an option. That's an
Yeah.
option. I could do that. I have one of those scales. You guys saw it in my challenge.
Well, that doesn't work for those of us that avoid the scale. So, so Gretchen tried to put a letter in the blue box outside the post office and it was sealed shut. So,
What?
Oh no.
I wonder what that's about.
Weird.
so Cory, where do you think you got your creativity from?
I know exactly where I got it from. So my dad is an artist, and he was a custom car painter and airbrush artist. And so
wow.
he's way better of an artist than I am. But then also on my mother's side, my grandmother on my mother's side was a decorator, and not professionally or anything, but her and I used to watch Trading Spaces and all those shows growing up. I've been watching that my whole life. And so I know that that's where I got my love of the decorating part. But I do think that my natural ability to understand color and things like that probably comes from my dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We've discussed the Trading Spaces show several times on our show.
I wish they'd bring it back, but at $1,000 or $2,000 budget. That's what made it fun to watch. The
Yes,
rest
I
of it's
agree.
not fun to watch. When you have a huge budget, it's like, well, great, you could just pay somebody
Yeah,
to do all that
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, that's not real life.
No,
People
And
don't
they kind of
have
focus
a lot of
more on
money.
right?
the
We barely got
personalities and the
$1,000.
drama.
Yep. We need to have $25 gallons of paint again. That's what we need to have. Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
So how do you balance it all, Cory? The kids, the school, the working out,
Oh,
the
gosh.
creativity, and all the. How do you do it?
I guess I kind of don't. And I think that's one of my biggest issues.
It just
is that
happens.
I just try really, really hard. And I think that sometimes that's all we can really do. And every day is different for me, which is nice because I have ADHD. And so that's perfect because I can do something different every day and I don't get tired of it. But what I have planned this whole time is that my kids come first. And so anytime I have that I can figure out what work I can get done in that time, I'll do it. But if something comes up, say like I'm working on something and my kids are playing together and somebody gets hurt and they're crying, I'm done. That's it. I'm going to go be with my kids and that's it. Or say that, my kids, for a while when I was working a lot and having to leave to go do things at the booth or whatever, my youngest one kept saying, don't leave, Mom. And when that started happening more often, I was like, okay, that's it. I need to be home. So it's kind of just a trial and error of doing my best or whatever it is at that time on that day. And if the next day is not the same as that day, it is what it is. My kids will always come first. So my business is second. And that's probably why sometimes my channel doesn't make a whole lot of money. But I'll have all the time in the world to make money when my kids are grown. I will never get this time back.
You're right. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's something I think a lot of times people don't realize until they become grandparents, because people are so busy, making their life that they forget those precious moments. And when I have realized when being a grandma, it's like there's nothing more important at that moment. So,
Absolutely. Put it down. Yeah, whatever it is you're doing,
Yeah.
just put it down.
Mhm.
yeah. Gretchen says she finds most of parenthood to be trial and error. So,
Absolutely. With each
Yeah.
kid too. Every
Yes.
kid's different. Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say I have 4 kids also, Cory. So
Yay.
So when you get down to the very last one, it's very different.
Very, yes. And she's my hardest. I don't know about you, but man, she's the spunkiest one.
My second to the youngest is the hardest, but
Well, that's good. It's still hard though. Yep.
so, what does Lynn mean? Cleaning silver tray, Cory?
Have you asking
Does
how
that
to
mean
clean it?
something to you?
Maybe how to clean it?
There is a paste. It comes in a blue and white little jar, and I can't remember the name of it, but I think I have it linked in my Amazon store. So if you go to any of my videos, I have my Amazon store linked on there, and you just go to the cleaning supplies list in my Amazon store, and I have the cleaning supplies for silver in there. It's like a white paste, and it comes with a little sponge. You dip it in there, and then it like cleans silver immediately. It's magic stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like the little sponge that's in there is kind of like a magic eraser. So I think that has something to do with why it works so well. But that whatever that paste is, it's like the barkeeper's friend cream sort of thing.
Yes.
But it's just a little thicker.
Okay.
That's another thing I have trouble keeping up with is the Amazon store. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a hot mess.
not
and I
super
need to
user-friendly.
Pay some attention to it.
Yeah, and I always hear that's how people make the most money is doing all the affiliate stuff. But
Yeah.
I like I was saying earlier, I have a hard time asking people to spend their money, and so I don't feel comfortable pressuring people to buy things, especially like right now. It's hard for everybody, so I kind of just if they want to look on there, they can look on there. I don't pressure anybody into buying stuff.
Yeah.
I've had people get mad at me when I don't have stuff linked.
Yeah, that's true. That happens too.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yep, I'm trying my best. I have 4 kids. Just
I was
tell
hoping
them.
you wouldn't notice. Dang it.
Right? Use Google. I don't know.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Cory, what is your formula? Like, how do you figure out how to price your work? I realize you're transitioning into gifting it as opposed to pricing it, but I know it's a recent
Yeah, very recent.
for you. Yes.
I would say I try to always at least double my money. So if you're buying something at Goodwill and say it's $3.99, I want to at the very least be able to get like $6 or $7 for it, or at the very least. So you're getting close to doubling. Like that's kind of a little too expensive even for something that you're going to be reselling. And so I try to always just double whatever it is that I paid for it. If I didn't have to do a whole lot of work to it, like say I was just cleaning it, sending it off to the booth. And then when it comes to the furniture, the way that I price it is I just price it for what's fair and what's selling. Usually I look on Facebook Marketplace and see about what something is selling for on there in good condition or like new. And then I base my price off of that. And I know that for a lot of people who are artists, that's not the way that they would need to price really amazing art. But since I make more money doing it on YouTube than I would selling it, I get a profit just from showing you how I made it. I price lower so that things sell quickly. And I think that I believe that's called diversifying your income. So when you're a reseller, if you can find a way to make money off of just doing the process, then you don't have to worry so much about how much you're asking for it. That's just a bonus in a way. You're getting your money back for the project and then a little extra. And I think that reselling, especially right now, I think that sales are kind of down for a lot of people in reselling, especially with furniture, especially like custom, really cool artistic furniture. Sales are down. And so if you look at how people are making money in that niche, it's really with making engaging content of the creating of the piece, not so much as the selling of it. And so it makes it hard to sell at a higher price now, just because that's just how things are right now. We have to go with the ebb and flow of everything.
Right.
Plus, trending is the
But exactly.
Pottery
Be
Barn
flexible.
whitewash, tan
Oh,
wash
yes.
look.
Yeah, all the creative
So-
stuff that was so popular probably about 3 or 4 years ago is like
Right.
you can't sell it. It doesn't sell at all anymore, especially
Nope.
colorful things. Unless
I
it's
have a
green.
hard time because just buying an unfinished piece, the thought of, but if I buy it and refinish it, that's fine, but I have to store it because nobody's buying it. And I have
Exactly.
stuff everywhere.
Right. And it's hard.
It is. I was wondering, like Crystal has, she has a little shed on her property, her she shed, and with the hopes of someday, like, or maybe now, like that's like a little selling area. Do you live in an area, Cory, where you would have any opportunity like that? Like, do you get any traffic going by your house that if you had a little
Like
something,
selling from where I live?
yeah, right from your property?
That would be super convenient, but with with
That's what we
uh
all
with
want.
having a bigger following on YouTube, it's kind of dangerous to do. And so I wouldn't personally do it because I have kids in my home. So I don't want anybody to know where we live because they know I'm a mother. And so you just can never trust people. But if it were just me and Manny, I'd probably, yeah, heck yeah, I'd try it. I'd be like, oh, why not? I'm going to have a sale on this day. There's this lady that sells all her sourdough and baking goods off her front porch. And she just sets up a little baker's shelf and posts like once a week, hey, it's stocked. And she sells out every time.
Wow.
So I know that that's possible. And I've seen other people do something similar in their garage where they'll set up a staged booth practically in their garage. They advertise the heck out of it on their social media for about a month. And then they have the sale on that one day or the 2-day weekend and they sell out. I've heard of that happening, but I wouldn't do it in my house just because of my kids.
Yeah. So we're nearing our hour, but so I want to check with our viewers and see if any of them have any questions for you. And just kind of wondering, ladies, or my Flippin Bunch sisters, do you have any additional questions here for Cory?
I see somebody asked, she said, your daughter used to like cleaning silver trays, didn't she? Oh, yes, she still does.
Oh,
I always say that
impressive.
she should start a YouTube channel because she's a perfectionist. My oldest daughter likes everything perfectly lined up. She always watches those like perfect restock videos where people will like restock their fridge or things like that. She's very type A, super organized. And I said, that's your niche. Make those videos. I'll help you. I'll help you learn it because those ones get millions of views. I just don't have the brain for it. Yes. So if she could get into that, she'd be set. She'd never have to get a real job. You know, that'd be her career.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I watch those in amazement and envy because it'll never be me.
I know, not me. Yep, I couldn't. All right. How
So,
are you liking
Jenna-
the resale market in Texas
Yeah.
versus Arizona? So I didn't really resell a lot in Arizona. I would say my furniture stuff sold a lot more over there, but I think that was just a sign of the times back then. Furniture was just selling a lot. Everybody was starting to get into the farmhouse trend. And here in Texas, I live in a city. And so Houston's audience is gigantic. And you do have a lot of competition in selling, but at the same time, like it's going to sell eventually, usually, because there's so many people that are looking at what you're selling, especially if you're selling it on Facebook Marketplace. So anything that I sold that was a piece of furniture from my booth would only sell if I advertised it on Facebook Marketplace. And they would go to my booth, buy it there, and I would sell pretty well as long as I didn't price things ridiculously. You know, people can only afford what they can afford. And so I would say Texas, definitely things sell a lot faster here. The population here is just, I can't even put into words how many people live here, especially Houston, Texas.
Yes.
It blew my mind moving from middle of nowhere in Arizona to this huge city where there's just always people and traffic.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
Sarah from Lemons to Lemonade. I mean, I know like sometimes her turnaround is unreal. Like she's selling pieces for $1,200, $1,400, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think she lives in Dallas, I think.
She lives, I think, in McKinney, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, a really nice area. But you know, Dallas's cost of living is really a lot higher than where we are in Houston. Houston's one of the lowest cost of living in all of Texas. So her prices, are reflective of just how the economy is over there, probably.
Mhm.
That's interesting because I would have just assumed that Houston would be a big money market, you know?
Yep. No, for the most part, the prices are low here. Like our gas is right now $2.49 a gallon.
Wow.
Groceries are super cheap here. The cost of living is very cheap. Yep. When I sold our house in Arizona to move here, we had about the same size house. It was almost $200,000 cheaper.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Houston is a very affordable place to live.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Dallas is very expensive. I don't think we could afford to live anywhere that was a nice, safe neighborhood over there in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's real expensive. Austin is also extremely expensive, probably even more so than a lot of places in
Wow.
Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how far are you from Dallas? I think you said it already, but I can't remember.
Dallas is north, like
Okay.
heading towards Oklahoma. So we're, I think, about 4.5 hours from
Okay,
Dallas.
That's quite a bit then.
Yeah, we are all the way down on the coast at the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gretchen says Dallas's culture is about keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes, there's a lot of flashiness going on up there. Those
Gotcha.
are the rhinestone cowboys up there.
Kind of sounds like Atlanta.
Yeah, I could
That's
see
funny.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kat, you keep going in and out. You're doing Dar's
She's
trick.
over for me. She's going to Cat and Narnia instead of Narnia.
Well, I had to plug in my computer, and I just didn't want to leave my camera on and then I had not a neighbor, but some guy was knocking on my door, and I thought it was my neighbor, but it was some other strange
That's
person.
scary by your
Yeah,
place.
don't answer it.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
So I'm curious. So did you answer it? And what did he want?
Right?
He's like,
We're
you
all
told
here.
me that next. He's like, he came a little while ago, and he's like, do you know where 618 is? And I'm like, well, it would be 2 houses down.
Oh,
And
interesting.
then he's back, like knocking on my door. He's like, but no one answers the door. I mean, what do you want me to say, sir?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not babysitting those people.
Yeah,
Guy, he better watch
that's really
it,
weird.
man. He could get the printer treatment.
The what?
What
The
was
printer
printer treatment?
treatment.
What's that?
When I went after the printer with the sledgehammer.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
oh, that would make a mess, Dar.
We've all wanted to do that.
Well, I finally did because I had it.
Yeah, they make a really good one now at Costco. I like a lot.
Oh, what is it? I'm gonna write it down.
I believe it's a brother. It's the one where you can refill the ink, where you just refill, you like squeeze the ink in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. I'll have just email me so I can email you back, and I'll tell you which one it is.
Okay.
But it's a really good one. I've had really good luck with it. We've had it for probably 4 years now.
Oh wow. Is the ink cheaper then?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, because that's
And everybody sells it.
that's like the most expensive part of the printer is the stupid ink.
Mhm.
It's like $60 for the cartridges.
Yeah. No, this doesn't even have cartridges anymore. They're just bottles.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Well, I just saw Jen's remark there, and I'm sure it was about the printer, that it was awesome to watch.
Oh.
I've been up to the hospital quite a bit, and they always like want to go through your bag to see if you have a weapon or anything. And, so I set my bag up there. I had to take, my knife out and my spray out. And so it wasn't in there. And I set my bag up there. He goes, do you have any weapons? I said, no, sir, I am the weapon.
Tell them.
Wow.
So I got these knife hands right here. That's a Marine Corps joke.
She always tells us if we go somewhere that we're going to be totally safe with her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh
Hey,
my
we're all
gosh.
handy ladies. We can do anything that we need to do.
Lynn says her son lives in Fort Worth. He is a rhinestone cowboy.
I told you. That is hilarious.
Oh goodness.
Oh my.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
again, if you hit up Cory's new channel, Cory, or I guess it's not so new, but her other channel called Cory, as well as Desert. Now, see, it's easy to mix up Copper Cactus DIY and Desert DIY because you're
Yes. Similar.
kind of similar, and that's
Yeah,
looking.
that's true.
Yeah. Well, we love if you subscribe to all of our friends' channels. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to work on the next Ugly Duckling Challenge, and then you guys have the Christmas in July coming up.
Yes.
and
And
what
the
else?
Unique
Clueless.
Antique Challenge, the next Unique Antique Challenge. That one's hosted by me and Mara. So yeah.
That's got a cool theme.
Yeah, that one. I got it up right here. Get motivated to totally transform some tragically unfabulous furniture in our fiercest DIY challenge yet. If you are clueless about a project, that ugly one you've been avoiding, then this furniture flip challenge is for you. Yes.
That's really cute.
I think
That's
that
awesome.
our viewer Jen out there, she has one coming up the end of August.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is beach inspired because our girl Jen, she is a little beach baby.
I love that.
Yeah. What is it?
You Classy Beach.
There
No,
you
that's
go.
her book.
That is her
What's the
book. She has
challenge?
written a book.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Is
I
that-
believe, does she have it on Amazon? Jen, you got that on Amazon?
She's in the chat. Beach,
Oh, but the
please.
challenge
That's
is
what it
beach,
is.
please, right?
Beach,
Yeah.
please. That's
Beach,
it.
please. I love it.
Yeah.
See,
right.
you could write Cory and get some tips from Jen. She's kind of went on her own and she has marketed what she has written and put it on Amazon.
That's
Yeah.
smart. I'd love to write children's books one day. We'll see if that ever happens.
Yes. Yeah. When
I
you
went to
guys-
college to be a teacher.
Okay.
And I
Well, you
ended
have a
up
house full of
YouTuber doing
illustrators.
furniture.
Hi, Jen, that's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Jen's a writer.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's
Yeah.
written like 18 books.
Wow, that's incredible.
Nice. I didn't realize she wrote that many.
Yeah, am I wrong? Am I talking out of school, or
Yeah. Yes.
if you put a comment in? She's written a lot of books.
Gretchen says she subscribed tonight. It was a great show,
Oh,
and
11.
she was glad to know your backstory. And thank you, Gretchen. Thanks for watching,
Just
and all of
11.
you. We really
Yeah, thank you,
appreciate
Cory.
you all.
Thank you for having me. This is great. I love
Oh my
it.
gosh, Cory, thank you for coming to join us. We bugged you long enough, so we finally got
I
to do this.
I finally made it.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we hope you
All
come
right.
back again sometime.
Oh, I'd love
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining, and you have a
thank you,
wonderful night. If
everybody.
no one has anything else, we'll
Yeah.
say goodbye for now. Jen said it was fun to watch, so love you
Jen
guys.
said she wrote
Thanks, everybody.
11 books. Only 11.
Only
Yeah,
11.
only 11.
May as well be
We've
18.
only done 0, so
Yeah.
I think, Cory, you would be great at writing books.
Mm-hmm.
All the things I've seen
I'll
you do
try
on
anything.
your other channel, like your organization skills, how to do things, your meal planning. You do great meal
Homeschooling.
planning.
I would love to
I'm trying.
homeschool kids. I really would, but I'm not that smart.
Oh, no, stop
You
it.
know,
are
you don't have to be that smart, especially for the younger years. High school gets a little bit harder, but we use online school to help us, so it's not as hard as you would think it is. If you ever have any questions, obviously just email me about it. I'm happy to help.
Aw.
I might do that.
If I
I'm
ever
ready.
get a grandkid, I'm probably going to offer to homeschool it because
Yeah. That's the best quality education.
You can teach them how to fix a printer.
yeah.
In themselves.
Teach them how to wield the hammer.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
teaching
was I
a few
mad.
things.
I
My
worked on that
boys
for
would
like
have
12
loved
hours and was not getting anywhere. After my computer, I couldn't get on the internet the day before. So I thought maybe that had something to do with it. It
Oh,
was,
it's gone now.
old. It was old.
Yeah,
Resting
It
in
was a
pieces.
that
dinosaur.
was funny. That was so good. Who was
I usually don't
expecting
do
that, though,
stuff like
really?
that.
What
But
an intro.
No, maybe you should. That should be your thing. You do demolition.
Yeah.
We'll have
I
to see
did
if
like
anybody
this
can talk.
squishy thing that somebody, it was purple, and I think it was, I don't know, elephant or something, and it was real squishy, and they just pounded on it. That's what it was for you to sit and pound on top of it.
A stress elephant.
A stress elephant.
You guys.
Well, on that note, we will see you all next week. And thanks
Yeah.
again for being with us tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you for having me.
Thanks again, Cory.
Love you guys.
All right.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.